Okay, so I just got back from the Jurassic Fallen Kingdom a little bit ago, and even though the movie was not quite the breath of fresh air the last one was, I still enjoyed it enough. I mean, I definitely wasn't bored any means sense. I mean, there were some silly moments, but at this point, I can think of actually it would be more uncomfortable, not blockbuster, not to have them than one that does. I mean, like since this year marks the 25th anniversary of the franchise, and even though the film may not be my favorite installment, but I mean, it still was a good enough way to pay tribute to what came before and definitely make quite a bit of money. It's already not quite as much of a record breaker as the last one was, but I'd say that I sold for 160 million or so in the US and over 700 million worldwide so far. It's definitely a good chunk of change and definitely much more stable footing for another sequel than the Dark Universe, and I'll get to more of that in the discussion. But anyway, 3 years have passed since the incident in Jurassic World, where an operation underway to evacuate the dinosaurs from the land which sees his own Grady, played by Chris Pratt, reunite with Claire Dean, played by Bryce Dallas Howard. However, to try and ensure this happens in a safe manner before a volcano destroys Isla Nublar. I mean, they're joined in this film by Franklin Webb, played by Justice Smith, of the Get Down from Netflix, as well as Dr. Z. Rodriguez, played by Daniela Pineda. I mean, other players in this film include who'd Hammond's former partner Benjamin Lockwood, played by James Cromwell, his granddaughter Hermese, played by Isabella Sermon, and her housekeeper nanny Iris, played by Georgine Chaplin, and of course, I think we have some of the most corrupt villains ever had in this film. A multitude of them, and with such as Ken Wheatley, played by Ted Levine, obviously standing in for the late, great Arlie Ermey as our standard issue, a military type, a, and oh yes, Eli Mills, played by Rafe Spall, son of actor Timothy Spall. I mean, second generation actor, and even though the film is definitely looking a bit like $130 million from a blockbuster, I mean, somehow director Jay Bayona actually managed to make it work. I mean, for the book, I still have not seen Monster Calls yet, but I have read the book. I heard it was good. I mean, definitely will get into it soon. I mean, it mixes up not only traditional elements of sci-fi, action, adventure we've seen in the series before, but also, I think, elements of disaster films, horror, war film, and oh yes, even some rather topical social matter that shows how crazy things have gotten. So that's why I didn't mind so much. Like, hey, the moment I saw, the T Rex digging out the Carnosaur, I said I get behind this. I mean, and even if the Carnosaur they predates the Tyrannosaur by several million years. I mean, remember most from Dinosaur by Disney, which is one movie that I like, but no one else seems to. For a long time, no one seems to talk about that much. I mean, anyway, while Colin Trevorrow reteams with co-writer Derek Connolly on this film, is going to be taking the reins back to director for the third one, 2021. On it definitely is. I mean, even though it's not quite on the same magnitude as its predecessor, it definitely has a lot going for it. I mean, there's much more I liked about it than I didn't like. I mean, just gonna come right off and say that at times I'll admit that Webb came off as a character. I know he's an IT guy, he's not used to field work, but he made me look like Jean Claude Van Damme at times. But I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'll keep this review, spoil the review the best I can. He does get better by the day Mont at least. He's at Hammond Estate, man. 8 cents. They bring that back from the second film, which I just came off viewing a little while ago. Oh, I was thinking about redoing my one on the third one, but apparently I still can't well enough. And so, and even though the film is definitely split down the middle opinion, like a lot of movies these days, a 50% tomato meter, but 61% audience score. I definitely liked it better than the third one. That's people try to defend that one saying like it's a horror film, but just because people say it's a horror film doesn't make it a good one, man. It's just something that I could never really get into about that one. That and Metascore, her I'm also working on as well as the IMDb rating, but I mean I'm on the. I mean it's like and because of how the action is handled, I mean some people had issues with the with how they were portrayed in the last movie, but overall, I don't think the CGI has really come a long way in the past 25 years, and it still impresses me the way not only the new dinosaurs such as Stiggy comes in handy, but also the Indoraptor, a genetic experiment which they cooked up. It's definitely one of the most frightening things about the film, especially in the final, act. I mean, I'm not gonna say how, but a lot of the deaths in this movie are gruesome, albeit well deserved. I mean, it's like J.A. saw the lady in the last week get eaten by the mosasaur and said, "I can top that." Man, that since they're both outrageously over the top and as well as really dark as well. Since I'm not sure when it's gonna come on DVD and Blu-ray, but it's definitely gonna be joining my rotation of the usual Halloween creature features. I mean, and definitely a I've seen worse ways to kill a couple hours, and I think it's definitely makes much better argument for a franchise to continue than like say the last issue with the Mummy. They was probably my least favorite film of the year. I mean, especially given how Universal really feels as a two. I mean, whatever happens with that one, obviously whether it comes, definitely probably look at it sometime in the near future, hopefully. And overall, oh, okay, so Metascore is 51. So again, not ideal, but I think even though there weren't as many people as the last movie, there's still like a good crowd there, about 40, 50 people in there, a good mix, and definitely managed to bring in the whole big crowds. I don't know what I'll be in 2021 when the third installment they're making comes out. I know I'll be retired from this channel formally, but I'm just gonna let you know that I'm gonna keep it open for preservation service. I've done way too much with it to just to just shut it down now. I mean, I'm hoping that it can and be another one that manages to be better than the third film was, and hopefully it won't. I think 20 years will have passed in Jurassic Park 3 by then. I think it'll be more than enough time to finally bury the hatchet. And okay, it's a 6.6 score, not ideal, but favorable at least. These and a lot of merchandise. I definitely tried. I had the a Jurassic Chalk Blizzard. It was good. DQ. A lot more chocolate in it than peanut butter. It's kind of like eating like a big Reese's, especially those bug eyes got in there. But all joking aside, it definitely managed to be a solid film, and I'm noticing that like a lot of other divisive ones I've talked about and often have enjoyed all the same. It's could very well be like the franchise's potential Last Jedi, where there are people who really like this film and those who really do not, and each with different reasons for doing so, often with the same reasons for liking or disliking it. Uh, some of people liked what was brought to the table, many others did not, and I'm not going to dismiss them as some for doing so. Oh, it's just that simple. I mean, I definitely think there are more people that liked it than that other one. Like the one about Gotti's life. I mean, since I think the only people that were behind the keyboards making this game was probably in the marketing department, and given how nobody in person has even seen that one, I think I'll just take that review with a grain of salt, man. Oh, anyway, I will say, hey, that I will give this movie like 3 out of 4, and also still, I'm still streaming. I definitely will talk about trailers, no particular order. I mean, the Meg, which is coming in August, to me, I think is essentially like a sci-fi originals caliber script with a budget that's worthy theatrical release. And overall, I felt that it could be another sort of film where even though it's ludicrous, I could actually probably get some enjoyment out of it because of how hilariously potentially bad it looks, man. And that's another thing. Like even if I don't like every film, I can often sometimes get enjoy some of how bad it is, man. As in, it's like watching a train wreck unfold. You don't want to look, you can't look away. I mean, but I'm pushing on wait for it to come on TV most likely. Ant-Man the Wasp already planned seeing that. Given how it's going to be addressing Infinity War as well as continuing the story of the last movie, so moving on. Bohemian Rhapsody looks promising, but I'll wait till others come out and see first, and also I'll definitely say in the case of say what else I see like Venom. I already talked about that in my trailer talk, so I'll go with that and Deadpool 2. So I'm gonna keep going, all the same. Plus Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald. Even with all this unpleasant Johnny Depp, I think one positive, regardless of how I feel about the breakup, is that it definitely would make a more convincing villain. I mean, heck, the first one he had after that whole unpleasant Amber Heard was actually him playing Whitey Bulge in Black Mass. I could definitely could buy him as Grindelwald, who is one of He Who Must Not Be Named's underlings. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of the cast come back, as well as seeing Jude Law as a young Dumbledore, and also going to Paris. I mean, I definitely enjoyed the last film, and actually easily how it portrayed a part of the world that no longer existed, a bunch of beasts that never did. I mean, and no matter what happens in 2021, where I am, I'll definitely still have plenty to say about a lot of films coming out. So that'll be all for now. Tell me what you think about this movie in the comments, whether you liked it or not. And I'll definitely let you know that no matter where you are, life finds a way. Life always finds a way. Yeah.